Take a moment to think about how many rugged and off-road worthiness SUVs that are still left on the market. There isn't many left, but this is definitely one of them, and I have with me a 2020 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. Now, the TRD Pro is the most extreme version of 4Runner you could buy today that's definitely geared for off-roading. But for this model year, Toyota decided to add a few things to make this even better, including more safety features, new infotainment system, and a few other subtle tweaks. So in this review video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this brand new 4Runner TRD Pro so you could decide if this is the right SUV for you. Stay tuned. Now, first, I want to give a big shout out to Continental Toyota for making this video possible. So if you're in the market for a brand new or used Toyota, then definitely check out Continental Toyota. Their information is on the screen and also in the description of this video. Let's start out by looking at the exterior to this TRD Pro. In general, 4Runners look like a proper box-on-frame SUV, but the TRD Pro steps it up a notch. The front end has a unique Toyota stamped front grille crossbar, and the center bottom bumper piece is also painted in black to match. Everything pops out and forms hard cuts or edges, such as the projector headlights and the trim surrounding the LED fog lights. And of course, underneath, you see a giant TRD stamped skid plate. Since we're down here, take a look at these special Fox shocks with TRD tuned springs that is also equipped on this TRD Pro. The side view is probably the manliest view. It's square, is chiseled, and has almost 10 inches of ground clearance. The 17-inch black TRD wheels, along with the beefy all-terrain tires, definitely fill up the wheel wells. And of course, you can't miss that enormous roof basket that's sturdy enough to carry a Mini Cooper. The steps are optional, but as you can see, it fits this TRD Pro like white on rice. The rear end matches the rest of the body, and there are a few trim pieces that are also in black as well. The TRD Pro badges are all in black if you haven't noticed. The rear glass slides down, which is pure genius, and the exhaust has a nice chrome TRD tip. And listen to what this TRD exhaust sounds like upon startup. As for engine options, well, there's only one, and it's a 4-liter V6 pushing 270 horsepower and 278 pound-feet of torque. Now, moving on to the trunk, it is very large and open. You can fit bikes, boxes, or whatever else you may want to. On the right, there's a household outlet that can supply up to 400 watts and a 12V outlet. There's also integrated JBL subwoofer. Besides that, you have 4 ring tie-downs in the back, and that's pretty much it. The rear seats have 3 tethers, and you can fold them down from the second row. By the way, the tailgate has 2 speakers integrated within. Now, moving on to the second row, the door panel and seats are covered in a leather-like material. They look pretty shiny, but you do have some nice red stitching. There are 2 vents as well as 2 USB ports that are now standard on the TRD Pro. As for space, I'm 5 feet 10 and there's about 3 to 4 inches of legroom, and the same goes for headroom. The seatbacks can recline for a more comfortable position. Folding down the seats, however, is a 3-step process. First, you have to fold down the headrest. Second, then you lift up the bottom. And third, you finally press the button and fold the seat down. That's 2 steps more than what I'm used to. Alright, now that I'm behind the steering wheel, let me show you the dash, the cabin, and also talk about the new things that was added for the 2020 model year. Well, since I'm here, let's look at the steering wheel. Nothing has changed on the steering wheel. It is still very thick. It has a good feel. I do like the feel, but it has a very truck-like look, right? And Toyota did it on purpose. It doesn't really match the new steering wheels from the new Toyotas, but that's okay. I actually like this design. Again, it's very manly looking and it matches the rest of the cabin. Now, in terms of the buttons here, this is all for controlling the little info screen over there. This is for volume, your voice control. This is for your phone control, and a couple new safety features that was added because this 4Runner now has the new Toyota Safety Suite, which includes adaptive cruise control, which is right here, lane keep assist, and pre-collision basic auto braking. Those are now standard on the 4Runner TRD Pro. So that is a look at the steering wheel. Let's look at the gauge cluster. Now this is also brand new. This looks a lot like the other ones I've seen from Toyotas, but it's a nice upgrade. The tach, the speedometer, obviously they're analog, but you get to see a lot of things pop up, especially when you put this 4Runner in four-wheel drive low or high, and all the terrain management stuff. You'll see various things pop up on here. And of course the menu in the middle, if you just want to scroll through, you could see many things. Steering angle, I've never seen that before. TPMS, navigation, audio. This is for lane keep assist. This is for settings, and you could turn things on or off. And each one that you scroll through, you could go up or down too. Sway warning, like if you're going to fall asleep, right? Eco indicator, not that anyone really cares about eco on this SUV, but they give it to you. So this is pretty cool. This gives you all the essentials, you know, for the car that you may want to know about. And then let's move on from here and go over here, because this is also a huge addition for the 2020 model year. The brand new infotainment screen, an 8-inch touchscreen, and now, yes, it does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Amazon Alexa for those of you guys that are waiting for that. You know, Toyota has been behind the ball in a lot of their models to add these things, but you now get them standard. So this is a big addition. So this change, climate control also changed. This graphical interface and how it works is very much like the other ones from Toyota. You can see these are the main categories, nice and big, and fairly responsive too. So as you can see, there's no lag whatsoever. Touch with a combination of buttons. For those of you guys that don't like touch, you could definitely scroll through navigation, auto menu, home, and apps, all that good stuff fairly easily. Now up here, vents, hazard light, the newly designed climate control. Take a look at these knobs, nice and big, right? Even if you had gloves, you have huge hands, no problem. Dual climate zone and very easy to adjust, right? So this is no complaints here. Now this screen still looks like it's from the 1990s, but that's okay as long as it works. So you could do some fan control, manual controls over here, heated mirrors, and defroster. That's pretty easy to understand. Now down here, you can see 12V outlet, USB port. Yay, you can never get enough USB ports. Just, I don't know, some little shelf here, another shelf over here. Take a look at the cup holder, the design. You got a cup holder here and one over here. I don't know why they didn't want to put two over here, or maybe put two here and move that there. Well, this is the way that Toyota did it. So you got two cup holders. Of course, it's TRD, so you see that on here. Manual or a regular shifter, a 5-speed auto. 5-speed, not 6-speed, 5-speed. And of course, this is the lever to go from 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive, and also low and high. And this is important because depending on what you select, then you can engage these various functions. So let me go through that real quick. But before I do that, let me finish this off. You got a big armrest right inside. You got another 12V outlet and just a whole lot of space. All right. So moving up here, you got a whole lot of things. Now this is for rock control. So if you're going somewhere that has a lot of rocks, either up or down, this is kind of like traction control for rock control. Now to turn on or off, if you press it, you'll see that there's certain functions you need to be in 4 low, otherwise it won't engage. And it's the same thing with this. This is kind of like terrain management. And it's a whole process to enable this. So if I press this, right, I'll say put the vehicle, stop the vehicle, shift to neutral. Okay, so I'll shift to neutral. Now it says select L4. So over here, right, L4 is all the way, so down, up, over there. Now it'll tell you that VSC is turned off, pre-collision brake system is unavailable. So while you're in this mode, a lot of things are turned off. All right, so now you can see if I turn this knob over here, right, depending on what you want to tackle, here's mud, sand, dirt, then loose rock, then mogul, and rock, right? So heavy all the way to light. So that's how it works. So to engage this four-wheel drive setup or low four-wheel drive setup, it does take a bit of effort. This is not like an all-wheel drive system, right? But then, then again, this is what hardcore off-road people want, because if you're really tackling those steep hills and rocks, this is what you need. Now, to get back, right, turn this off. To get back, you turn this off, then you can shift this down, right, and you can actually feel it vibrate. Then move it over, and then go into high two-wheel drive. All right, so there you go. All right, and then lastly, you have this, which is very, very popular. This is the switch to lower the back window, the tailgate window. Now, I don't know if Toyota patented this or no one else sees value in this, but this is absolutely awesome. It lets so much air in, especially when you're driving. This is the same thing on a Tundra, you could do so. Other people don't have it. So I don't know if Toyota patented it or not, but it's definitely a really good thing to have. And then you have some heated seats. You don't have ventilated seats in here. And over here, you do have a few other things. This is just for your home link. This is for controlling your light. You have rear differential lock, traction control off. This is A-Track, another version of traction control. You got SOS button, and you have some controls for the sunroof. Not panoramic, but it is something. It does let a lot of light in, so I'm always a fan of that. Unfortunately, I don't have any off-road place that I can really test out the capabilities of this TRD Pro, but I will take it on the roads and see how it drives. So let's go for it. So another change that Toyota made for this 2020 model year for the TRD Pro is a louder exhaust. So even right now, going at 20 miles per hour in this parking lot, I can hear the exhaust note, and I like it. I like it a lot. First thing you'll notice when you're sitting and driving this thing is how high you are up. This is really, really high. You definitely get a really good commanding view of the road, and that's a good thing. But those of you guys on a shorter side, you might have trouble getting in without a side step or something like that. But man, you are very high off the ground. Ground clearance is almost 10 inches, about 9.7 inches. And of course, that's good for not scraping the bottom. But if you happen to hit something, that's okay, because you do have a fancy and very thick TRD Pro skid plate that's right underneath. Now, Toyota didn't want to mess with success, so on this TRD Pro and all 4Runners still utilize the same engine and transmission from years ago. I don't know how long it's been, but it's a 4-liter that's pushing out 270 horsepower, and that's fine. But it's made it to a 5-speed automatic. So as you can imagine, fuel economy isn't the greatest in a 4Runner, but it gets the job done, and it's super reliable. This is one of the main selling points of a 4Runner, is because they last 200, 300, 400,000 miles with just oil changes, and that's pretty much it. There's so many people that have 4Runners that's well above 100,000 miles. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and that is why Toyota, they don't want to mess with success. That's why it's still the same engine, same transmission as years ago. I mentioned about the exhaust. I really love the exhaust. I'm in, a little bit of a stop and go situation here. And I love this exhaust note. You could definitely feel it and hear it in the cabin, and it's a good sounding, throaty sound. Even though it's a V6, this is a large V6. Keep in mind, it's a 4-liter V6. So, man, it sounds amazing. Now, in terms of quietness, not the quietest SUV, that's for sure. I was up to speed about 50 miles per hour. I could hear decent amount of wind noise, some road noise, and also definitely a lot of exhaust noise, okay? I don't mind exhaust noise, but for some of you guys, that might be bothersome, especially if you're trying to hold a conversation in here. Now, I just had a 4Runner beep at me, and now it's one of the new safety features. Lane keep assist, if it detects you're swerving out, it will definitely beep at you telling you, hey, get back in lane. Now, what are some other changes you might be wondering about? Well, for the 2020 model year, of course, the exterior color, this army green, very, very popular. All TRD Pros, in fact, including the Tacoma, the Tundra, this 4Runner, they're all go get this because people love it. So that's one of the new things that's for 2020. Also, something very subtle, I showed you guys the USB ports in the back row. That used to be optional. Now it's standard, so you don't have to pay extra for that. So just little things like that. One of the good things about having a 5-speed is you don't have to worry about the transmission always trying to find the right gear. You know, I just tested out a few cars recently, 9-speed, 10-speed, and I feel like the transmission is always trying to find the right gear. If you're going at low speeds, the car feels underpowered. I don't get that feeling in here. You know, this 5-speed, even though it isn't the greatest for fuel economy, but for everyday driving, it's perfectly fine. In fact, in some situations, it might be even better. All right, so I'm trying to take, yeah, turning diameter, turning radius in this 4Runner is horrendous. Yeah, you definitely, if you're trying to do a U-turn, you need a lot of space. Okay, I had to stop because someone in front of me. I got up to 50. Now, I did feel the back go down a little bit because of how soft the suspension is. It's not the quickest. It's not the quickest SUV, that's for sure. It has a good amount of grunt. You know, you'll get up to speed. Passing, definitely not a problem. But 0 to 60, this isn't meant for that. Now, as for suspension, it's kind of mixed. It is soft. The suspension is soft, but because this is a truck SUV, a body-on-frame SUV, I do feel it. I do feel like the body is kind of like floating on this frame, and I do feel the body move quite a bit. I do feel the bumps. Like any big pothole or just even little bumps, I definitely feel it. So this suspension is kind of weird. It's soft, but yet stiff. As for driving position and just overall seating position and visibility, very good, very good. I do feel like the seats are very high up on purpose, so you can see over the hood, especially there's a hood scoop that kind of gets in the way, so you do have to sit high, but that's not a problem. You still have headroom, right? So that's not a problem. The windows are very big. The dash is kind of high, so the front windshield is a little bit smaller, but the side windows, back windows, and the rear window, all very big. So there's no problems with blind spot, visibility, nothing like that. And in terms of just the overall feel, I like it because I am sitting very high up. I feel like these seats are actually very comfortable. Very high up, commanding view, good visibility with comfortable seats. I like it. I like it a lot. I actually enjoy the steering wheel a lot. I like this feel. It's nice and thick and it's comfortable in all the right places. Now, in terms of the steering feel itself, mixed. It's not bad, but it feels very vague to me. In terms of softness, it's not very soft, but it just feels vague, and there is quite a bit of steering play, as you guys can see in the camera, without affecting the steering, so it's not very direct either. So it's kind of mixed. I'm surprised by these seats. I thought I would be sliding around, and I'm not. These seats are actually very comfortable. Very comfortable. It's a very high seating seat, but I'm not sliding around. But then again, I'm not taking sharp corners either. As for brakes, they definitely catch on very early. Very, very early. So as soon as you press it a little bit, you know, this TRD just wants to stop. So you don't have to press hardly at all to feel the brakes working.
Lastly, let's go over the good and bad to this brand new 4Runner TRD Pro. Starting with the good, the TRD Pro definitely has very rugged exterior looks. The 4-wheel drive system with terrain management is outstanding. There is a new infotainment system that has Apple Carplay and Android Auto. The seats are very comfortable and you do get a good driving position. there's a great new TRD exhaust, and lastly, this TRD Pro will pretty much last forever and retain a great resale value. As for the bad, there are a few things as well. The TRD Pro has a floaty body-on-frame feel. The suspension is soft yet stiff. The fuel economy isn't the greatest, with only 16 in the city and 19 on the highway. And lastly, the TRD Pro, the price starts at $50,000. I'm giving the 4Runner TRD Pro overall score of 92, and if you want to see how it ranks among its peers, then check out driversonlyrankings.com. Thanks for watching this, guys. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel and check out some of these other videos.